Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on how we can actually consolidate 5 different worksheets and we want to put it in Power BI. If we look carefully over here, we do have a sales report file for Asia Pacific, and we do have for Middle East, we do have for Africa, we do have for Europe, and we also have for Americas. So basically what I want to do is I want to actually consolidate all these reports into one database, and from that database I want to produce visuals in my Power BI. So let's get started. So the first thing is I'll go to my Power BI desktop, import data from Excel. So once I click over here, you will notice a box will appear. So you need to know where you save your file. So apparently I save my file in the desktop in a folder. So we are going to select case study file global Apple sales report. So when I click it over here, so just let me choose the first file, which is March sales report, and I'm going to press open. Once I press open, you will notice a box will appear. So in this case, we need to choose the correct worksheet. So in this case, we notice that there are 5 different worksheets. You don't have to take all the worksheet. Instead, you can actually select the first worksheet. You may ask me, why am I selecting Africa? By right, I should select all the worksheet. So in this case, if you want to compile or you want to consolidate, you don't have to select everything. You can actually select the first worksheet. And then, since I want to go to Power Query Editor, I'll click on Transform Data. Clicking on Transform Data, you will notice that we will be navigated on Power Query Editor. So right now, in this case, we do have the African worksheet. What you can do is, you can actually refer to the query settings over here, and what we can do is, we just remove this change type, promoted headers, and also the navigation. So that means it will go back to the source. So this is our source, and in this particular source, we have all these worksheets. So I only want the sheet. I want go to the kind, unselect the define name and press OK. So right now we have all the worksheets. And if just say you don't want these columns, you can actually remove all these columns right here. And you can actually expand the table. So I'll expand the table and I press OK. So like in this case, we have already expanded the table. And the interesting part is you will notice that we not only have one region, we actually have multiple regions: Africa, Americas, APAC, Europe, and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these first 2 columns, right click, and I want to fill down. Once I fill down, the next thing is I want to remove the first 2 rows. So what I'll do is under home, remove row, remove top row, and I'll remove the first 2 rows. So now we have January up to the end, which is until December. But if you notice over here, this column 16 until the end, we don't need it. So I'm going to remove these columns, delete. So we have up to December. And then we can actually use first row as header. In this case, to promote the first row becoming the header. And then we can actually filter out because we don't need the total, we don't need the null, we don't need the gen. So I just click it over here. I unselect null and I will just select the total. And I'll press OK. So right now our data looks cleaner. And I can actually select the January column up to the December column and unpivot. Or you can also try to select the first 4 columns, right click and unpivot other columns. In this case, we have already cleaned the data. So here we do have the code, here we have the region, here we have the products, the models, the months, and the value. So I'm going to name this as code. This is region, this is the products, this column is for models, and this is for the months, and this one is the value. You can actually format the value into a whole number or any number related format. And if you look carefully in this data, we notice we do have the region. However, the region here is not in a proper case because you have here proper case, all big letters or uppercase. So in this case, I want to standardize everything. So what you can do is you select the particular column, go to transform, and then go to format, and then you just click here, up capitalize each word. So in this way, what happens is all it becomes in a proper case. So right now we do have this data over here. Next, what I'll do is I'll go to home, and I'll click close and apply. But when you click close and apply, what will happen is it will actually go back to Power BI. So once it goes back to Power BI, you will notice that your data, the database will be loaded over here in this data pane over here. But if you notice carefully, our report, it is actually referring to Africa. So if you don't want the name, because this is not dedicated for African continent, instead it's a region all around the world. So you can just double click over here and then you can put here global sales. So in this global sales report, we do have these details over here. So if just say I want to actually create a visual showcasing the months and the values. So in this case, what happened is you will notice that we have the months and we have the values. So if just say you want the value to be in a proper format, you can select the value and you can select this comma over here, thousand separator, so that it is formatted properly. And if you can't see the numbers, what you can do is you can go to format your visual over here and you go to values and then you can increase the size to 20, and the header also you can change to increase the size to 20. So I'm going to put here 20. And if just say you don't want the word sum of value, you can go to add data to your visual, double click over here and you can put here total sales. If you notice carefully, even though we actually have the visual, but it's not presented properly because we live in a universe whereby in 1 year we have 12 months and the 12 months starts from January. But in this case, what we notice is the data is basically sorting from the largest to the smallest. So if just say you want to sort properly, you can click over here. But what happened is, even though you click over here, you will notice that it is sorting from February, January, March. So how I actually want to sort properly whereby my first month is January? Well, if you look carefully, as per table view, our data over here, this month's column, even though it's a month, it is actually formatted in a text format. So in this case, we are not well sure that which is the first month. So in this case, however, if it's in a date column, we can actually understand that January is the first month. But in this case, since it's a text format, it will actually sort the data in an alphabetical order. So what we can do is, you can either create a table or you can go back to your Power Query to create another dummy table. So the purpose of this dummy table is to show to Power Query and Power BI that we will sort January as the first month. So I'm going to press here right click. I want to go to duplicate. So once I go to duplicate, over here I'll just put here monthly data. And what I want to do is I want to remove all the columns. So I go to choose column, I remove all and I only select the months column. And then what I do is I'll want to remove the duplicate. So I click here, remove duplicates. So now we have January, February and March. I go to add column and index column. The purpose of index column is to serve a sequence. This is to tell that the Power Query or Power BI, the months column should be actually sorted by this sequence, not by alphabetical order. Then I go to home, I press close and apply. Once I press close and apply, you will notice it will go back to the Power BI desktop where we have this report view, table view and model view. What you will notice in the model view is a relationship has been formed between these two tables, because in these two tables both have the months column. So eventually the relationship will be detected and relationship has been established. What we need to go is we go to the report view, we expand the monthly data, select the months. So when I don't tick or untick, I just select over here. Then I go to sort by column over here. Instead sorting by months, I want to sort by index. So in this case, it will not sort by February or April. Instead, it will actually sort the data in a sequence from January onwards. Then I select this visual over here, unselect these months and select the months over here. So in this case, you will notice that the data will be sorted in January, February and March. So I can just extract here, put it over here. So now this has been formatted correctly. But what if just say next month I have a new data? So what you can do is you can go to home. You can either click on transform data over here, or you can also click on the arrow. So I can click on the arrow, data source settings. So in this case, I want to change the file because we have already import March file. You go to change source, and then after that what happen is you click browse and then you just click on April. You press open, you press OK. So automatically it will change to April. You press close and then you press apply changes. By pressing apply changes, you will notice that automatically we will have additional data for the month of April. We can do one more time. So I can click here, transform data, data source settings. So you will notice a box will appear. Click on the change source, and then you will notice another box will appear. Click browse. So just now we choose April. Now you can choose May. You press open and OK, and then you'll notice the file will change and you press close. So over here you'll notice there are pending changes. What you need to do is you press apply changes. By pressing apply changes, you'll notice that the new data has been updated. And if they say supposedly you need to click on data source, but you accidentally press on transform data. So when you press on transform data accidentally, don't worry. So let me just show you what happened when you press accidentally. Of course, it will go to Power Query Editor. But your intention right now is you want to actually change the file. You can also go to data source settings over here. So if they say you were to accidentally press transform data, don't worry, you can actually go to data source settings over here, and over here also you can actually change the file. So from the file name of May sales, you can click browse, and instead of May, you choose June, you press open, you press OK, and you press close. And then what you do is you go close and apply. So by pressing close and apply, you will notice right now there will be a new data being added. So in this case, what we learn is we learn about Power Query, we learn about data modeling, and we learn about a simple visual in our Power BI.